And away we go in the 2020 TSIAA quarterfinals in the playoffs, and we will have a return. An attempt from Christian Community's Poulin, getting up to about the 18-yard line.
Poulin there was able to get the 3 extra yards to start off the game. He was able to make a quick couple of moves, and that's something to watch out for. Lancaster sometimes has trouble tackling in the open field, and that was on full display right there.
And we'll see this Christian Community offense for the first time tonight in action. And the Colts, of course, what more can be said about them under Coach Flanders and the excellence that they've been able to have at the high school football level for so many years. And their first offensive play is going to be a fake and brought down in the backfield.
As we're going to watch down the replay.
Number 13, Caden Poulin. To bring up a Colts. Second down.
Now watch as CCS tries to get a quick trying to dumb off the game. The quick fake pitch, but Jacob Anderson was there and made sure that the out route was right there wasn't available.
Loss of about 7 yards. And on a second down and 15, Nix. Malham, the sophomore, getting forward and a gain of about 3-4 yards of the play, so it brings up third down.
And Spurlock came in at the end and gave a lick. And that's something else to watch out for. See how many big hits that CCS takes.
Lane Spurlock, a junior now for this Lancaster defense, this Lancaster team in general. Spurlock showing up on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball, and trying to force the Colts to go out a 4th and out on their first offensive drive. And toss to the left, and the catch is made by Asher Nix this time, trying to push forward, but gets to make it now a 4th down and 4. And Asher Nix trying to get something there, but the Colts will be forced to a 4th and out.
Watch the replay here. Nix does his best to try and fall forward, get the first down, but Ryan Arrington comes from the secondary and stands up Nix and pushes him back so where he isn't able to fall forward and make it a 4th and manageable or even get that first down.
Colts offense looking like they're going to punt it away. Nobody back deep for Lancaster to receive. Not abnormal as we've seen Lancaster not return any punts this year. So Christian Community punts it away, and that'll go out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. And we'll see for the first time tonight this Lancaster offense. Now, Deuce Bragg, earlier in the year, he was in a boot for their regular season game here at May-Flanders Field. And, of course, the final score on that 18-12 with Christian Community. But from talking with the coaching staff, the optimism here for Deuce Bragg and how well he's going to perform, it's very high.
Definitely. And another thing that they mentioned is taking Deuce and him being out, the quarterback that came in is actually their #1 wide receiver. So it took away one of their receiving threats.
And here's a double reversal as Horde goes to the left, and Horde is going to get to about the 40-yard line and get a first down. Jordan Horde is the man to do it, and switch it aside, and no 4th and out on the first offensive drive for Lancaster. They'll at least take it forward by about 13 yards.
Now watch this. Watch on the double reverse. Right here, Deuce makes that key block to let Horde get to the outside as here comes the hurry-up offense.
Jacob Anderson for Christian Community tried to get there as Horde is going to go again, right side, being chased down and gets a gain of a yard there for a 2nd and 9. We could go back to that replay on that first offensive play, and you can see again.
Okay, now, watch right here. This is the first time that CCS's defense has overcommit that I've been able to see, and that left Horde wide open for the edge, but Nix came in and made a big play to limit it to only a 12-yard gain.
And now it's 2nd and 9 as Bragg has got space, but a little bit under pressure, slings it, gets it, finds it to his man, Hargrove, as Hargrove is going to push through, get to the 20-yard line, and now inside the red zone, Lancaster is just pushing down the field.
And right now Lancaster's taking the momentum their defense made from the 3 and out and forcing it right now on CCS because they're the underdog. They don't really have that sense of pressure that CCS does, especially never winning here before. Yes, that weighs on you, but it gives you something. Hey, we can be the first, and if they win here, they go out and they play FCA. If I'm correct.
And
Go ahead.
Lancaster is 0-3 at May-Flanders Field, and the winner of this goes on to Franklin Christian as slung to the end zone to Horde, touchdown!
That's going to be
But there is a flag.
That's going to be offensive pass interference.
We will get our first call of the game. Larry Tidwell is the referee, and get the call from Tidwell.
Pass interference on the offense, 15-yard penalty, replay first down.
So pass interference called on Horde there, almost a touchdown.
Here's the replay on that one. Horde at the end of the play puts a little bit of a shove as he ran the wheel route right there. Now watch right there. That two-handed shove is what they got Horde on right there.
Good awareness by Malham to put his hands up to show I'm not pushing here, as they push it back for now a 1st and a quarter of the field. Bragg is going to scramble, take a few yards game. Didn't like what he saw down the field, and at least stops the clock for back to the line of scrimmage for a 2nd down.
And it looks like he had Devin Hargrove wide open over the middle of the field, but because of the defensive pressure there by CCS, he wasn't able to have time to set his feet. He just took whatever he could get, as it brings up a 2nd and 24.
Long distance for Lancaster overcome, but hasn't stopped him before. Bragg will toss it. Horde bobbles the ball but can't get it. Now a 3rd down.
And right there, that's what they were just trying to get a few more yards and try and get Horde into the open space. Unfortunately, Horde there wasn't able to bring it down. But you have to like what Lancaster's offense has done so far. Except for that penalty, they've been able to move it pretty well on CCS.
All righty, Colts fans, I want everybody to stand and make some noise.
And
your defense.
This is a chance for CCS defense to get off the field. They have 2 plays here to stop them from getting 23 yards.
Christian Community trying to cheer on their team is 3rd and 24. Bragg is looking right side. Bragg trying to get back to the 1st down marker, way short, of course, and back to about the 26-yard line.
But this was the area during pregame warm-ups where they had their kicker kicking it from. It looks like they're not going to bring out their kicker for this, but it brings up 4th and 12, and that 10-yard gain, a 15-yard gain right there, makes it to where it's still a manageable 4th down for Lancaster's offense.
Now on about a 4th and 15. Bragg trying to convert here. He's going to sling it across the middle. It's picked off across the middle. Picked off by picked off by Brandon Chun. And that is a crucial play that could detriment Lancaster later on.
As you're going to watch right here.
1st down.
Watch. Chun comes in from the secondary and reads the eyes of Deuce and steps in and makes the interception.
Andrew Leverett, the intended target there, the sophomore, and now with a turnover on downs, Christian Community faces a 1st and 10. So here's a carry by Belcher. Belcher with a gain of about a yard for a 2nd and 9, and you have to wonder in these situations. Again, 0-3 at May-Flanders Field, and of course, another loss from Lancaster earlier in the year was to Ezel Harding. We did that game last week, and you have to wonder if the 40-yard width is what's really getting them.
Well, with Lancaster, they're built on space in the offense, so their 50 by 100 field, they're able to spread their receivers out even more. But they're trying to do the same thing here, but their receivers are too far to the outside where it takes out a couple of their routes, like the out route and stuff like that, to where they can either run a curl or
as he gets brought down behind the line of scrimmage, trying to roll something in. Malham just stuck behind the line of scrimmage. It brings up a 3rd down.
But it also makes it to where the receivers on the edge, they can maybe run a hook, maybe run a slant. But other than that, their routes are limited. And so most of the time what the outside receiver does for Lancaster is either run a streak or a post. But it's making it to where on these type of fields where they keep doing that kind of distance, where the outside barrier, there's 2 defenders there for CCS right now. Because you have a guy playing on the inside, and then you have the outside barrier, and it has to be a perfect throw by Deuce.
And Christian Community is facing a third down here. A little bit of a bobbled snap as Belcher airs it out to the right side, and it's ruled incomplete. Intended there for Chun and Albert Clark in coverage. Lancaster fans were looking for a pass interference there, but not going to get it.
As right here, the throw was a little short to Chun. But now watch Albert Clark track it in midair right there. He tracks it and makes a play on the ball. Yes, he would like to have it, but it brings up a 4th and long to where Lancaster is having to punt. No, Lancaster's getting the ball right back.
It's Lancaster defense forcing a 4th and out to Christian Community 100% of the time thus far in the game as the ball goes out at about the spotted at the 40-yard line right at midfield. And leaves it to about 5:48 left to go in the first as the Lancaster Knights trying to get something going on offense again.
So what's big about CCS angling the punts out of bounds is where it's not letting Horde get into open space like Lancaster's trying to do on offense, getting Horde into open space. But for them kicking it out of bounds, Horde isn't able to make a play on the ball.
New set of downs for Bragg and company. Offense coordinator Sean Bell trying to get something going here as 1st and 10. Bragg will sling it to the left side, intended to Hargrove, and just out of his reach. Hargrove unable to get the catch there, and it brings up 2nd and 10.
But what's promising for Lancaster is they run another wheel route. Here's the replay on that one. Now watch the wheel route coming from right here. The receiver comes down and then beats Aaron Malum off the ball, but Nix did a good job of turning around, finding where the ball was, and making another play on the ball. But if Deuce can throw that a little bit further out, then receiver runs right under it.
2nd down, pitched it forward to Hargrove, and results in about a 3rd down and 7. There's a little bit of trickery there by the Lancaster offense, but not enough to make it a short 3rd down conversion. It's now 3rd and 7.
But what it does make it to where they have 2 downs to get those 7 yards. That's what they were trying to do. They're trying to get a little more. Maybe if it breaks big, get Chun in the open. Not Chun, but get him in the open. Or Hargrove in the open field.
About a 3rd down and 7. Bragg has got time to the left side, overthrew his. Looked like Hargrove was the intended receiver, just overthrew him, and now 4th down.
That'll bring up the Knights. 4th down.
So this is the out route from the inside receiver right here. Right here. He just he misreads it. No, that's the wrong play.
That was on the first
But what
down.
happened was there was an out route right there. Ben Deuce read him cutting quick, but the receiver didn't get the communication and didn't know if he was gonna try back and run to that post, but it wasn't available.
And they go for it. Here's Bragg, slings it and doesn't get the 1st down. It was intended for Arrington. Just hit on the ground there as Bragg took a shot, and the Colts are going to take over at midfield.
Here's that one. Now, Bragg does a good job there of stepping up in the pocket. Right here, as he steps up in the pocket, he lets it go right when he gets hit. But because of the pressure coming from behind, he wasn't able to really set his feet like he want to and get the extra oomph on the ball. So that is why the throw came a little short.
And now the Colts are on their 3rd offensive drive of the game. They have better field position. It starts at the 37-yard line. Handoff up the middle. The ball is loose, and looking who's got it. We'll catch the replay on it to see if they got it. And 2nd down.
Number 77.
Now, watch this. Now, watch the read right here. Here comes second down. I don't know what number it is. It's in the middle. Right there. Number 55. Lane Spurlock right there came in, and he disrupted that play because he read the count perfectly. It was in the backfield right when the ball was handed off, so that play didn't have any chance to develop.
2nd and 10. So a rush up the middle, and the ball lost again. But the Colts managed to fall on it. Lucky for Will Adams to recover it there, and you could tell that You can tell that
Third
Coach
down.
Flanders is furious at his guys for already 2 times in a row missing
So
it.
now watch what they do here. Okay, so right here. The first man hits it, and the second man comes and rips the ball out. And that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to keep CCS to a short gain, but while they are still trying to keep them upright, they're coming in from behind and trying to strip the ball as there's going to be a false
Penalty
start.
markers on the field.
Prior to the snap, false start. On the offense, 5-yard penalty. Replay third down.
So move back 5 yards there to a 3rd down and 13. About 3:25 left to go in the first quarter in this TSIAA quarterfinal. Now a 3rd down and 13,
There's
and ball
another
lost in the
fumble.
backfield,
This
and
time
it looks like
Lancaster got down on
Lancaster's
it.
got it.
It was recovered by
Lancaster,
Result of the
they were
play.
trying to force
They
the
will
ball
bring up
out, and on the
Lancaster.
3rd
Touchdown.
attempt, they got it across midfield.
This one is just a miscommunication. This is a read option here, but but right now quarterback tries to hand it off. Oh no, it just bobbles the snap.
Yep.
And Lancaster falls on it.
Just a bobbled snap there, and
There it is, another. That was gonna be another 3-and-out though by Lancaster's defense. Lancaster's defense came to play right now.
as Horde takes it on the right side. Stiff arm there, but brought down in the backfield. That's Aaron Malham bringing Horde
And
down.
Horde is down.
Loss of 4
Brought down
yards,
by
and
number
a
34.
Horde, that's a bad
Aaron
loss if they
Malham
have
of the
it.
Colts.
Looks like Horde is, he's got back up on his feet immediately. That's the important thing. He's just shaking up a little bit. And coach talking to him. He'll have to sit out a play minimum, and in comes in the freshman Albert Clark for him.
It did look like Horde's ankle got rolled up on at the end of the play right there from the tackle from behind. But it's good to see him get up and try and shake that one off. As they do have the trainers looking at him, but he's right back next to Coach Bragg telling him he's ready to go back in.
Just shaking up a little bit there. So now a 2nd down and 15.
But look right here at down after I'll talk after this play.
Bragg under pressure. Malham can't get the tackle off. Bragg scrambling and incomplete,
Pass is
intended for
incomplete.
Clark.
Intended target number 1.
But
Albert
right
Clark.
there, 14, Andrew
For the
Leverett.
Knights.
Look,
Had to bring up a
I
Knights.
don't
Third
think I
down.
got the. But watch this on this play. Watch where they line up Andrew Leverett. He's a yard from the sideline, taking away that out route. But what they're trying to do, as there's 2:17, as I called the timeout, 2:17
Timeout
left.
taken by the Knights.
What they're trying to do is when they're outside, they're trying to run a slant or something in over the middle. But what they're doing with this receiver lined up close to the line of scrimmage, they're trying to run a wheel route, and the wheel route's been open so far.
The Kingdom.com, the 2020 TSIAA quarterfinal presented by Kingdom.com is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all of the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics, visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. Spencer Thompson and Zachary Lone bring you all the action here from Christian Community's May-Flanders Field in White House, Tennessee. No score with 2:17 left to go in the first as the Colts and the Knights collide to advance to face Franklin Christian Academy in the semifinals and get one step closer to the 2020 championship game. Still plenty of time for them to achieve that. 3rd and 15. Bragg with a quick toss. Horde back in the game. Going to the left side as Horde makes a collision there at the 31-yard line. And Horde with the carry. They'll continue to run the clock, and it's going to be a 4th down and 8.
What they did there was they got Horde in open space and just tried to make this 4th and manageable. So they did end up getting about 6-7 yards to make it 4th and 9. But CCS did a good job there of not letting it break big, as Chun was there on the sideline to give the hit and force him out of bounds.
I'd like to especially thank all 54 of you watching right now. Spencer Thompson, Zachary Lone, Jack Helwig bringing the action here from White House as Bragg gets out of that scrum there, and he's diving for the 1st down. He's got it.
Deuce Bragg of the Knights.
Bragg makes plays not only as a gunslinger with the ball, but
Chase
on the
down by
ground, he's
32 will
dangerous.
Hinkle of the Colts. The result of the run, and will bring up a Knights.
Now look,
First down.
the pocket again collapses on him, but he's able to get out to the outside. And watch right here at the end. He stretches that ball out and is able to get that extra 2 yards for the first down.
So now inside the red zone at the 20-yard line. This Lancaster offense is trying to strike first in the first quarter. On the 20. Bragg has got an option across the middle, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted. And Miles Bernard gets the pick at the 30-yard line, and with it being intercepted, it turns it over on downs. This would be a great use of instant replay if they had it, but you look at instant replay here. Did he catch the ball?
Now watch this. He runs that little slant, and he gets hit right as it happens, and
Oh,
it does.
No.
I think it did.
You think it did? We'll get one more look at it.
I'm pretty sure it hit off his knee. As here we go. We're gonna go again.
It's close. There may have been somebody blocking the ball from this angle.
As he throws it.
Yeah, you can't tell because of the official blocking there. If you had a sideline camera, it would be perfect.
But it looked like it hit off the kneecap of the Lancaster player there, keeping the ball up.
They have the best angle there, and flags fly. It's going to be a
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
move forward 5 yards.
With 48 seconds to go in the first quarter, we've already had, this is their CCS's fourth time having the ball.
First down.
If at the beginning of the game you told me that CCS has already had the ball 4 times, I'd expect Lancaster to be up 12-0 at this point. But with it being 0, Lancaster just isn't being able right now to put
as Malham pushes that defense, it gets to the 35-yard line, and the chains move again for Christian Community.
And Malham did a good job there of putting 2 hands on the ball. Because I guarantee that's what Coach Flanders is trying to tell him right now, is make sure, put 2 hands on the ball and don't allow these turnovers to happen, because we're playing right into what Lancaster wants to do. But Lancaster hasn't been able to convert their opportunities so far. So CCS is right where they want to be.
First and 10 on the 35-yard line. As scramble here, toss right side, it's shoved down last second, incomplete. Pass intended for Belcher. And the incompletion there. 5 seconds remain in the
So this will
first.
probably be the last play of the quarter. This next one. Okay, but watch right here. The pressure, the pocket collapse, so he escapes to the outside. He throws it right on the money, right as he takes the hit. But Belcher just isn't able to hold on to it there. Those are the type of things that CCS needs to start converting.
And with 5 seconds left, it's another carry there to Malham, and that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Switch sides of the field. No score yet here in the 2020 TSIAA quarterfinal. Christian Community Lancaster tied at 0.
Christian Knights 0. Your Christian Community.
Started the second quarter. Spencer Thompson, Zachary Lone, and Jack Hellwig bring the action here, and flags fly. It's going to be.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard
False
penalty.
start on the offense.
Replay third down.
That'll be a 5-yard penalty.
Move it back
Still
5
remains
yards there.
third down.
Turns out 13 is Caden Poland. Changes roster name from 10 to 13. As Poland airs it out to the right side, intended pass for Bernard goes incomplete and brings up a 4th and 15. So Christian Community forced to a 4th and out on every one of their offensive drives.
They have so far, but what they're doing is they're getting themselves into second and third and long plays. The first drive, it was the sack. Second through fourth drives, they have been false start or false start penalties. They can't do that. Their offense isn't designed to make up big chunks like Lancaster's is. So now you're looking at Lancaster. They need to start driving the ball, but they have to start converting these as they look like they're going for it on 4th down.
Christian Community in a playoff game on a 4th and 15. Right in midfield, what do they got to lose? Scramble here, and Poland manages to stay up as he goes with Horde on his back. Looks like he's carrying him about 5 or 6 yards there. It'll turn over, but at least Lancaster is not starting in midfield.
So that was big there by Poland to get those extra yards. As Horde right here sheds his block and is able to get Poland, but he gets on his back at the 40, and Poland's able to will his way to the 33-yard line.
It's a bit of piggybacking, as you see in very rare to see in high school football. 1st and 10. Bragg faked him out and is going to keep it to the right side. He's got space. How about a little more? Bragg had one man to beat, but Miles Bernard, the touchdown-saving tackle.
As right there, the way that Bragg deceives the whole time they've been giving off the Horde to go to the sidelines, to the out right there. But Deuce saw that the whole CCS defense overcommitted, so he pulls it back and then is able to get that huge chunk play.
Horde up the middle, trips for a gain of about 7 yards.
And then they go right back to get it to Horde, to where that gap in the middle is open again, because they had to worry about Deuce being able to get to the outside now. That was a great play call there by Coach Bragg.
So now on a 2nd down and 3. Bragg coordinating the offense. Try to conduct the orchestra to a touchdown. Bragg going to toss it to Horde. He's got space, and Horde will strike first. Lancaster Christian with a touchdown.
And what Deuce does there at the line of scrimmage is brilliant. So he gets to the line of scrimmage, and as here it is, as he gets to the line of scrimmage right here, look, so he changes the play and has Horde go out of the backfield because he realizes the zone is favoring that right side of the field, and he gets Horde to go on a halfback wheel route to the outside, and there was no one around Horde, and Horde was able just to walk into the end zone.
They do have a field goal kicker in Arrington, but they're opting to go for the 2-point conversion here. It was a low-scoring game in their first matchup earlier in the season. Will that be the case tonight? 2-point conversion attempt. Bragg to the right side. Complete. A reception. There was a reception. Jacob Anderson. Or was it 8? It was Devin Hargrove who got the reception. Squeezed jersey there, but.
As Hargrove right here, just the soft spot of that zone was the back of that back right end zone. And Hargrove finds that, and Deuce puts it right on the money. As now Lancaster is up 8-0. So what that means is they're forced it to where a game where it's been kind of sloppy so far for CCS and Lancaster, to where they have to get that touchdown, that 2-point conversion. But this is where CCS has to find it within themselves to get on one of those long drives, one of those methodical drives. There's 10:21 to go in the half. In the half. So what they need is need either a big long run, or maybe just control the clock, try and keep Deuce off the field for 5-6 more minutes and try and slow his momentum he has so far.
And this one is going to go to the back of the end zone. Not even a chance for the Colts to return it. Christian Community going to try to respond to the touchdown from this Lancaster offense. And
so look here for them to go back to Malum or maybe try that play action pass that they tried at the beginning of the game, because the secondary from Lancaster is crashing to the line of scrimmage as soon as the play starts. So look for them to try and go over the top one of these first couple of plays to try and just keep the Lancaster defense honest.
how will this Colts offense respond? They start out on their own 15. Poland going to hand it off. Malham up the middle. And just a gain of a yard.
And that was a good job of closing that hole, because that hole looked huge from where we were up here. But see, this is the type of plays where they need 3-4 yards. They don't just need that 3-4 inches. If I'm CCS, if I'm CCS, I'm taking a shot right here.
They have a 2nd and 9 and decent amount of space to go, but it's going to be Malham again up the middle. Spurlock and company keeping him from going anywhere.
And now they're in another 3rd and long. CCS's money zone is 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. That way that they have the option, they have to run on the table, and they also have a chance for the play action pass. But now they're so far out of it, they're going to run it and try to and hope for a gap to open up that Lancaster hasn't been open yet for them, or they're going to have to try and go over the top.
Gain of a few yards there for a 3rd down and 6. Swept in the backfield. It's a carry by Chun. Braden Chun staying on his feet and pushing a little bit more, but not enough for the 1st down. He's got a 4th down coming up for the Colts.
Now watch this left side of the Lancaster defense right here. They haven't ran this play yet, and Chun gets to the outside, but he wasn't able, the first man there wasn't able to bring him down, but he stopped it long enough, as that was number 7 right there. Andrew Kaczynski was there, and he was able to stop Chun just long enough for Hargrove and Spurlock to get there and make the tackle.
And 4th down as they try to punt it away. It's probably a false start or outside.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
False start on the offense.
And now what this does is it takes away that fake opportunity where Horde has to set the line of scrimmage. Horde is back now, so now they have to angle this punt to the sidelines.
Lancaster has had a few punt returns all year, but Horde is dangerous. Muffs the ball there and trying to carry, gets a stiff arm, but back down to the 30-yard line, so not a positive return for Jordan Horde, as Lancaster will start out on their own 30-yard line.
Now, watch on this punt. So he muffs the punt. Here it is. So he muffs it right here. So he goes back and he picks it up. But now watch this open field tackle by Padgett right there. That's a huge play from the freshman.
New set of downs for this Lancaster offense as Horde has got some space to the left side. Got a little bit more. He almost gets struck down by the jersey and forced out of bounds past midfield. And another 1st down for this Lancaster offense.
And right now, this is the rhythm that I was talking about that CCS needed to try and stop. Right now, Horde is being able to get whatever he wants, and Deuce is able to read the defense. They're so locked in that they're able to read the defense, and now they're going to try and bring 3 when they've been only bringing 2 all game. Look for that to try to go ahead.
As Bragg slings it across the middle, incomplete. Probably a miscommunication there, as it looked like Leverett was in the area, but.
So right there, Leverett, what he did is he saw the man was on the inside and ran straight towards the sideline instead of running back to the pylon right there. So what Bragg thought he did, he's going to run towards the pylon. So that's why that ball looked a little bit overthrown. That is just a little bit of miscommunication. And that brings up 2nd and long. So if you're CCS, you need to try and either get a sack or tackle for a loss right here.
Horde with the carry. Gets past one of the defenders, and another one dives to about the 30-yard line, and 2 yards shy of the first down.
And now watch right here. Watch the right side of this Lancaster offense.
Third down.
As the run goes to Horde, they're doing such a good job of blocking right now as Horde stiff arms his own teammate, to where those runs that were getting 2-3 yards in the first quarter are starting to open up big because of the contributions to the wide receivers. That was a huge block on the outside right there by Arrington.
So now a 3rd down and 2. They give it to Horde again, and this time he's not going to get the first down. Stopped at about the line of scrimmage.
Now watch this hit. I think that was it Adams?
Bring up a Knights. 4th down.
Yes, watch this hit right here by Adams. As Horde gets in, he's in the field. He breaks this first tackle, but watch Adams come from the secondary and make that big hit and force him backwards. And Malum hung on just long enough for reinforcements to come, and it brought up this 4th down. If you're CCS here, this is a must stop.
So now on a 4th down and 2, Lancaster will go for it at the 30. Bragg coordinating it. Bragg looking for the option, quick toss. The catch is made, and that'll be enough for a first down as Hargrove gets the reception.
Okay, what Bragg does here is he realizes he comes to the line of scrimmage right there and realizes that they're in a zone, and then a man instead of zone like they have in the whole first half, and then has the out route right there. What a good turn.
Lancaster keeps pushing down the field. This Knights offense looking to get another score in to solidify their lead as Hargrove gets tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. Asher Nix with the defensive stop.
Huge play here by Nix. As you're going to watch the whole right side of the offense right here.
Second down.
Here comes the snap. He rolls to his right, and everyone but Nick stays to that left side. No, goes to that right side. But Nick stays home and in his area to where he's able to take down the receiver there for a loss.
2nd and 15. Quick to Horde, but he's got several Colts to get through as he gets back to about the 21-yard line. Maybe close to 10 yards of the play, but not enough for the first down. So heads to 3rd down.
And now here it is, a 3rd and long. Can CCS get off the field? That is starting to become the theme of the game. Can CCS make these stops on 3rd and long?
About 3rd and 6 for Bragg to convert. Bragg scrambles up the middle. Not enough to get the first down, about a yard short.
Watch this recognition from Bragg.
Brought down by number 3, Josh Madden of the Colts.
As we come up to a 4th and short, watch this recognition. Through the middle. The person who's supposed to fill that gap tried to go to the left side and wasn't able to win that matchup, and it just left that big hole for Bragg to just go right through and get this 4th and short again. Huge play here for CCS.
4th and 3 as Lancaster's offense is cheering. Bragg is going to head across the middle and a first down. The catch made by Hargrove.
And right there, what Hargrove did is he recognized where the sticks were, ran his route, and then stopped right in the middle of the field, right in the open spot of this zone that CCS has been running, and then deuced through it on time accurately to where they get the first down.
New set of downs for the Colts here is Horde up the middle again. He's stopped by Asher Nix. You know, that's a name we've called a lot this year in Asher Nix. He's been pretty incredible on the offensive and defensive side, and he's the reason they've been put in so many clutch situations to win ball games.
Yes, and Nix is one of the upperclassmen on this team, and he stays in his lane, and he always seems to come up with the big plays. Like I said, beginning of the year, big time plays make big time plays. Like earlier this drive, that was a huge play to stop them make it 2nd and long, but they weren't able to convert that.
As Bragg On 2nd and 9, gets the catch off to Hargrove again, and a 1st and goal. Tell you, this Lancaster offense, the more and more they make receptions, the more and more they're looking like they're going to get out of this game a W.
Well, Deuce right now, as they're trying to get to the – no, watch right here. Deuce throws the ball right now, right before he even makes that cut. So that was a perfectly timed ball, and the defender really had no chance there. That's one of those where you tip your hat if you're the defense.
And Horde up the middle, practically untouched, a touchdown. And the Lancaster offense is leading, chance to go up 16-0.
And right there, what they did is this whole drive, they were in multiple 4th and long situations, but they weren't able to. Well, 4th and short or 4th and medium situations with your CCS. CCS wasn't able to get Lancaster off the field. And when you're playing against a team like Lancaster, you have to take advantage of those opportunities. Because now they find themselves in a 14-0 hole where they're going to have to score before half because Lancaster gets the ball to start second half.
And 1:49 left in the first as Bragg toss it, and 16. No signal. There it is. 16-0. Lancaster leads on the road. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all of the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com, and by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. You're 1:45 left to go in the first half. Coming up on the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report, give you our thoughts and analysis of the first half. It's all coming up on the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report. And as turn here from Irvine. Cy Irvine finally brought down at about the 12-yard line. The Colts are pinned deep in their own territory. I believe they still have 3 timeouts, but it's a lot of field to push down.
They do, but so they're going to have to open up the offense here because you can't go down a double-digit – no, you can't go down 2 possessions right now and going into half the way this Lancaster offense is clicking right now. And it's a timeout called by Lancaster Christian. They'll think it over with 1:40, but you were saying. So Lancaster's taking this over. But this is scary right now if you're CCS. The way that Lancaster's just been able to drive down the field on your defense. And they do it to many people. But their last possession, they took 6 minutes off the clock. That's usually what CCS does. They usually grind down the clock and then punching at the end after about 6-7 minute drives. So if that keeps happening, if you're CCS and you don't score here, in the second half, you potentially only have 3 possessions. So you're going to have to stop them multiple times. It's a tough hill to climb out of on a 16 score. 1:40 left to go in the first half as the Colts and the Knights collide for a trip to Franklin next week in the TSIAA semifinal. See if the Colts can get a score before the end of the first half as Poland. Quick toss to Malham. Malham has got some space as the freshman Albert Clark prevents him from getting to the outside too much. And that'll give him about 6 yards positive. If you're Malham there, you want to get out of bounds. That's a good first play there for CCS. They got the ball rolling and they were able to get into they were able to get 8 yards, but they got to get to the line and start and fast. Gain of 6 for a 2nd and 4 as Malham gets it again. He's got some blockers this time and tripped up this time by Kaczynski. And the clock just keeps running as there's the first timeout. Colts will think it over, 59 seconds left. But see, right there, now it's 3rd and short. Now if you don't get this, Lancaster gets another chance to go down and score. So you have this third down right here could be the ball game if you're CCS. Just try and minimize the damage, and maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're just trying to run to the and minimize the damage. Right now, what you could do if you're CCS is maybe fake that pitch to the outside, and maybe have Chun or someone just run it back to the left and see what's there. And because at this point, it's 4-down territory almost.
Facing a 3rd down and 1 as they use their first time out of the half. The Colts haven't had an answer for this Lancaster defense thus far. Haven't had an answer for the Lancaster offense either. Trying to give them at least something here. 3rd down and 1. Hand off up it's a fake, and Belcher is going to go up the middle and get a first down to about the 37-yard line, and
Drew Belcher, the Colts.
it's first down.
That's a good job there by Belcher.
Brought down
As that
by
read
Ryan.
option, he read what was
Jacob
there
Anderson, the Knights.
and
The
then
result of the play. He will be
brought it
forfeited
back and then
trade.
was able to get to that first down. But they're not getting to the
First down.
outside to out of bounds as there's been 13 seconds already since that last play call. As they're going to have to start throwing the balls. There's only 30 seconds to go in the half.
A pass intended.
And that's
for
going to be
Bernard.
rough in the passer. That's going to be 15 yards.
Bernard.
Yep,
Penalty
15
markers
yards
on
on
the
there as it's incomplete.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer on the defense. Automatic first down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense.
So,
The result of
a
that
lucky
will be
break
an
for
automatic
Christian
first down.
Community.
And it wasn't even needed. Belcher had already thrown the ball as I don't think the clock will start here, but he had already thrown the ball and then just a needless penalty.
And with 27 left, 27 ticks left in the first half on the 32-yard line. Poulin under pressure by Horde, toss it, and what a catch!
Passes
If it was not ruled incomplete.
I don't think he got a foot in bounds there, but that was almost a great catch. But no harm, no foul. Only 8 seconds ran off the clock there. So they have so they're at the 32-yard line, and they still have 2 timeouts with 19 seconds. They have a chance to run 3 more plays. By the way, that they've been running this drive.
And they have several timeouts to work with. Now a 2nd and 10. Both fan bases knowing what's at stake here. And false start.
Prior to the snap. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
False start on the offense. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. Still remaining.
Larry
Second
Tidwell,
down.
the referee for tonight's contest, did the white cap for Ezel Harding and Lancaster last week. Got the assignment for a playoff game as Belcher slings it to the right side, overthrew his intended target of Bernard.
I was about to say, if they want to take a shot, that was the play to do it, because CCS Lancaster was pressing up man, so they had no one over the top, so they had no safety deep. So if they were going to take a shot, that was the play to do it, and they did.
And with the false start in the previous play and the incomplete, a 3rd and 15 coming up here for the Colts. They got 13 seconds to work with, but it's probably the point where you start taking deep shots. As Belcher has got pressure, slings it right side, and the clock continues to run as Miles Bernard takes it up, and final seconds winding down. They're not going to call a timeout, and that's going to be the end of the first half. Flanders a little bit upset. He tried calling a timeout there. He's talking to one of his guys. And
what Flanders is upset about is the man went out of bounds, but they ran the clock because he was forced out of bounds.
Flanders having a conversation with Tidwell, but it's not going to matter. End of the first half. Lancaster comes out strong, and they are a total of 24 minutes away in game time before they head on to Franklin Christian. Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report coming up in about 30 seconds. Welcome into the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay halftime report, everybody. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Zachary Lone. 16-0, and it's looking a little bit reminiscent of a 16-14 score that, or excuse me, an 18-12 score that happened earlier in the year. So low scoring, but Lancaster's offense, they've been firing on all cylinders tonight.
Yeah, Deuce has done a great job of making pre-snap adjustments for that first touchdown outside the Horde. He just saw that the whole right side of the field was in the man coverage because that's where they've been going most of the time. They've been forcing 2 receivers out wide, and Horde was been able on that halfback wheel route for the past few plays. So he comes up to the line, realized that was the same formation they were in, and he goes, okay, well, I got him outside, and so he snaps it, and Horde runs that halfback wheel, and he's right in for a touchdown. And then Deuce's ability just to see the field and know when to step up, that was the key the first couple of drives. Yes, they weren't able to score, but he was able to keep the drives going by his ability just to run the ball, be able to get 6-7 more yards to get an extra first down or 2, because that is starting to tire out CCS's defense.
For now, Christian Community, their defense has tried to uphold, but their offense just hasn't been giving any answers to the Lancasters' quick scores and everything. A lot of frustration for Flanders at halftime, but at least for now, what is he going to tell his guys at halftime?
He's going to tell his guys, look, our defense, if coming into this game, if I saw Lancaster had 16 points at half, I'd be like, okay, good, we're in a good spot. But CCS hasn't been able to move the ball in Lancaster's defense at all. The best drive they had was at the end of the half, and that was cut short because they didn't have they ran out of time. So they got positive momentum, but what scares me if I'm CCS is Lancaster gets the ball starts the second half. So don't be surprised if maybe CCS comes out and onsides it or something just to try and get a little momentum.
We'll see how they handle it. About 8 minutes left until halftime is over. We'll keep that timer on the clock, and you're watching the 2020 TSIAA quarterfinal presented by Kingdom.com. About 8 minutes. welcome to the start of the second half for the 2020 TSIAA quarterfinal game between the Colts and the Knights. Spencer Thompson, Zachary Lone, and Jack Helwig bringing you the action from May-Flanders Field in White House, Tennessee. 16-0 right now. Lancaster came out firing on all cylinders, and they received for the second half as the Colts could not capitalize on any offensive drives in the first half. But don't be surprised if you see an onside kick attempt here from Christian Community.
Definitely, they are in scramble mode right now. As I honestly don't know what they're about to do.
And they just kick it high up. And it's Hargrove to try and return it. It'll be brought down by Braden Chun.
So right there, they kicked it high to try and keep it away from Horton. That's what they did. But I like what Coach Flanders did there. He said, yes, we're in trouble, but I'm going to rely on my defense, who has helped us and carried us through so many points of this season, especially early on. I am going to put my trust in my defense, that is always our strong suit.
And kid running on the field to grab a ball that went into the end zone and get back to the action. First and 10 here for Lancaster's. Horde has got an opening. Horde is going to the outside. He's going to break free. Jordan Horde. Touchdown, Lancaster. 3 scores up.
The result of the play, it will be a
And
touchdown.
Let's see if we can get all of that right there. Right here. The hole opens up, and then Horde gets in that open space that we've been talking about so many times. He's so good and so fast. He's got that breakaway speed, and that's a back blow. That is huge if you're Lancaster.
A 22-0 lead on the road.
And they came out one play, 1 touchdown.
1 play, 1 touchdown out of the second half is Bragg for the 2-point conversion. It's intercepted by Malham, and
2-point conversion.
nothing doing.
No good.
They're in high school ball.
Yep, we've been saying it all season long. In high school, no, but in the NFL, yes. In college, don't believe so. 11:41 left to go in the third. As perfect time to remind you, thekingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all of the pieces together in your financial puzzle. Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. And by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets.
To kick off for the Knights, number 18.
Now, CCS has to score probably within the next 5 minutes, even think they have a chance, the way that their offense runs.
Ryan Arrington. Back to receive for the Colts, number 16.
Yes, their offense is a great offense to use, but it's terrible to use when you're down.
This 2020 TSIAA quarterfinal presented by Kingdom.com is all one-sided right now as the ball is lost again, and Lancaster is going to fall on it.
No, I think CCS failed on it.
Cy Irvine mishandled the ball, and get a replay there, and wait, it's ruled in favor of Christian Community. Looked like it was close there, and they turned it over. Or it was almost a turnover there in Christian Community. A lucky break for him.
Watch this. Watch. Lancaster just has to fall on it.
Yep. Colts guy fell in the background. We can't see the player's number.
So what happened is the Lancaster guy fell on it, but wasn't able to control the ball. It just popped out, and Christian Community's guy falls on top. And now you have 1st and 10 from your own 8. This drive right here could give Lancaster, either Lancaster or CCS, confidence for the rest of the game.
Pinned inside of their own 10-yard line. Belcher is going to carry it. And forced out of bounds by Clark.
Drew Belcher. Chased out of bounds by the 1, Albert Clark of the Knights.
As he gets out of bounds and the clock stops for them to spot the ball. But that's what they need to get more of. They need to get more of these big chunk plays, because now it's 2nd and short. And they're not going to run the clock. So now, just every time you get out of bounds, just get out of bounds every play now, and you're going to be able to extend this game longer.
time management is a key here for Christian Community, being down by 3 touchdowns.
Look for a shot here.
2nd and 4. Belcher is going to carry it. Finds an opening. Spurlock is going to bring him down, but it will move the chains for a first down.
That was a good job by Belcher on that read option. He read that the whole defense shifted too far to the right and overcommitted to that run to that left side of the offensive line and then just burst up the middle. But Lancaster right now is playing press coverage on the wideouts for CCS. If you're CCS, you got to take a shot soon.
Now on the 20-yard line, Belcher hands it off. Adams up the middle. He's going to get a gain of about 7 yards. And you could hear everyone from Christian Community sideline saying, go, go, go. They're trying to manage the clock because they know what situation they're in.
And they're going to have to this whole second half. This is up-tempo pace.
As Adams, left side, pushes through for the first down, stopped at the 35. And they stop it to get the first down, but he's trying to hurry him up.
As they're already back to the line, but that was a good job by Adams, getting what he could, and then lowering his shoulder, and then falling forward, but also putting both hands on the ball because that gives extra security. And now all of a sudden, within 1 minute, they have almost gone half the field.
1st and 10 on the 35 as Belcher is going to keep it. He's got some opening to the right side. Loses the football, and Lancaster recovers it. Andrew Kaczynski with the fumble recovery. And this drive could be the nail in the coffin.
As here we go. We're gonna watch the replay here. Now watch Belcher right there. Right here. Look, he has the inside, but he decides he's gonna try and cut back to the outside. And then he loses the ball. If Bernard had that block, if he would have stayed inside, he was in for a huge gain.
And now in midfield, Lancaster hands it off to Horde. Bragg with the handoff, and Horde just weaving through that defense. He's got another blocker, stiff arms there, and Horde to the outside. Tries to tiptoe the sideline, and finally stopped at about the 13-yard line.
Knocked out of bounds number 14.
As we're going to watch this replay as Lancaster fans are wanting a late hit. Now watch him cut back. He realizes that the whole CCS defense is overcommit and then lays down that stiff arm, and Nix does a great job of forcing him out of bounds. As here we go. If you're CCS, you have to force a turnover here. Because 15...
As they give it to Albert Clark, the freshman, to the outside. Touchdown. Lancaster up by 4 scores.
It will be a Knights touchdown.
20 seconds ago, 20 seconds in game clock, Lancaster had the ball. CCS had the ball moving down the field. And then 20 seconds later, Lancaster runs untouched into the end zone. And that could be the deal breaker right there.
Still about 21 minutes left to go in the game, but it's a tough uphill battle for Christian Community to climb here as Bragg tossed to the right, caught.
That was no good.
No good. He's short of the end zone. Albert Clark short of the end zone on that 2-point conversion.
So,
now,
watch this on the 2-point conversion. If you're Bragg right here, I know they're 20-0, but this could still come back to haunt him. Watch. Watch him. He throws the ball, and it's short of the end zone, so he falls forward instead of being able to fall backwards. So the throw by Bragg to Clark is what was wrong with that one. So Clark wasn't able to fall backwards into the end zone. He had to fall forward and come up and get the ball. So it doesn't matter if your body's in the end zone if the ball is short. So that is why that 2-point conversion is incomplete.
And they'll kick it off here.
Back to kick off for the Knights, number 18. Ryan Arrington. Back to receive for the Colts, number 16, Cy Irvine.
You see it after the kickoff, you think you can get the angle of shot on him? You don't think so? and goes to the back of the end zone for a touchback. Tell me if you can get it.
As now CCS comes back out, and now you're looking at a 4-score game. And if you're CCS right now, and your Coach Flanders, this is where you lean on your veteran leadership.
And they're a really young team, so the veteran leadership is going to have to come from within as Chun goes to the right side and gets a gain of about 7 yards for a second down.
Ball was kept by number 2.
That was a good job by Chun there to try to go ahead and gain that extra yardage. They're going to need more of that, and they're going to have to go hurry up because time is running out of them. Time is not on their side.
So now a second down and 6 as
Adams.
What a good thing for Will Adams. A big break for Adams as he stopped at the 35-yard line.
And now you got to get to the line, and you have to hurry up. Now you have life again. All of a sudden, if you score quick here, you're right back into it, to where you have a shot. And this is huge if you're CCS, just for confidence sakes. Just saying, hey, look, yes, we can counter punch there.
So now a second down and 10 on the 35 as 8 minutes remain in the third. First and 10, correction on that. And on the 35-yard line, Chun is going to take it. He'll get close to a first down, maybe second and inches.
That was a great block there. I wasn't able to catch it, but got to the shoulder of the Lancaster defensive lineman and threw him out of the way, and Chun was able to get to the 9 yards. But if you're CCS, why aren't you getting to the line? Why aren't you getting to the line? In the past minute, you've ran one offensive play, and you're down 4 scores.
So now a second and 1 for this Colts offense. It got Adams to block, and the first down will be achieved by Chun, and he gets a few extra yards inside the 20, and they do stop the clock.
The result of the run, it will be a Marquette Insurance.
About 7:05 left to go in the third.
And now they aren't going to run the clock, so this is your time if you're CCS where you slow down and you oh, nope, they did run the clock. Never mind.
Yep.
But you're starting to move the ball better if you're CCS. So as Chun comes off for the play. So this is where you get to the line. You got the 15-yard line. You want to score here before 6 minutes left.
First and 10 on the 18 as this Colts offense knows they have to score, and they got to score quickly. Belcher is looking for options. He's got to the end zone and intercepted. And the interception, I believe, by Hargrove on that. And it's a touchback. Lancaster turns it over.
Okay, now we got the replay on that. Now watch how the Lancaster defender tracks the ball here. As they did take that shot. But now watch the Lancaster defender right there. Who was that? I didn't get the number there. He tracked the ball. It was Hargrove. Hargrove tracked the ball in midair and went up and made a play on the ball. That was a great play there by Hargrove. And now Lancaster has the ball back, and now it's starting to look a little bleak if you're CCS.
As Lancaster pushes it across.
Brought down by number 33.
And now a second and 10 as they got back to about the line of scrimmage.
And they were able to stop Horde right there for a minimal gain. But now you have 18 minutes down 4 scores. You need, if you're Lancaster here, not Lancaster, if you're CCS, you look for a score at a certain point, you point to it. For instance, 8 points with 3 minutes to go in the game.
Bragg will sling it to Hargrove, gets back to it, and what a catch! Hargrove beats his man, and Hargrove is going to take it for another Lancaster touchdown.
What a play by Hargrove there. Now here comes the
markers on the field.
Let's check the flag, though. It's in the backfield. Tidwell giving us the other part of the story. Looks like they're still going down the field, but we'll see what Tidwell has to say. Probably talking to Coach Bragg about the situation. We'll get the call.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer on the defense. That penalty will be accessed on the kickoff. Touchdown.
Objection overruled.
And of course, right there, you take the points. But watch right here, Deuce. Trusting his receiver. And Hargrove turns and makes the play there. Threw it to the backside of the defender, Drew Belcher there.
So with 5:40 left to go in the third quarter, Bragg on a two-point conversion attempt, toss it to the left, and Horde incomplete. So 34-0. The Knights lead, and are a few minutes, or just the Knights lead here at May-Flanders Field. .540 left to go in the third, and with the penalty enforced, it'll be a kickoff from 35 and just booted back to the end zone. It's hard to see down there from the wide shot, but you could see the executive director of the Tennessee State Independent Athletic Association, John Horner, in attendance tonight. As critical as we have been of him on air, he's had a tough task throughout the offseason to handle COVID-19 and all of the scenarios with it, especially when the TSIAA handles more than just football, handles volleyball, cross country, of course basketball coming up, but that's a whole nother monster to tame. And he's been in attendance tonight, trying to make sure that everything is staying in line. So, at least to us, we salute our caps to John Horner on the efforts that him and the TSIAA board have made to try and keep the season safe. As Chun gets an opening flag down. And the ball lost, but it's spotted about 43. So
it is going to be a holding on the receiver there. So this play is going to be coming back with a spot foul. So really, it's 1st and 9.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
So where it was, never mind. It happened right at that first down marker. So it's a 1st and 10. No, it is 1st and 9. So it's 1st and 9. So because the play, since it's from the spot of the foul, even if the ball was call was at the 30, it'd go to the 20 and be 1st and 5.
Again, thank you to all 55 of you watching this quarterfinal. Winner goes on to Franklin Christian, and South Haven awaits the winner of Lighthouse Esau Harding. We'll talk more about that on Sunday, as Colts nothing doing. But just to backtrack a little bit to what we were saying about the TSIAA, it's quite a year to be an administrator in athletics, especially at the high school level. And for this season to not have any major COVID scares, to not have any COVID outbreaks or anything like that up until the latter half of the season, it's been pretty impressive. So the efforts that the TSIAA board have had to keep the season going, including with Governor Lee's orders, it's been good on their part. So our hats off to John Horner and the board members for making it happen this year.
Definitely, this has been a crazy year in all aspects, and just to have football is quite an accomplishment.
Here's a 2nd and 11. Belcher Gets back to about the 14-yard line, so about the line of scrimmage, and brings up 4th down for Christian Community. And looks like we got CCS's Drew Belcher is down on the field right now. So we'll step aside for an injury timeout. So Drew Belcher able to stand on his own feet, assisted by several of his teammates, so he's going to be looked at the training staff. As Malham loses the ball in the backfield and immediately recovered by Jason Schrum, the junior. And quick recovery there for the Colts. And in a game like this, of course, that's one of those games, and one of the names in Schrum we haven't called a lot. It's at this point, with the game seemingly being out of reach, it's time to cycle in all the rest of your guys for your final game of the season.
Definitely, and especially when you have young players, just getting them playoff experience. Any playoff experience matters at this point. Experience in general is really good to have going into your next season, good to have in your back pocket. They have, 2 seniors on this CCS squad. So as they punted it away, and there is a flag
down as it's to the 35-yard line. We'll get the call from Tidwell in just a moment, and they're calling something here. It's Odell Bradley on the sideline there.
Might be holding.
Having a discussion there and such. Talking with Bragg.
Illegal formation on the offense. That penalty is declined. Be 1st down.
Well, I was wrong.
It's close. You had some idea there.
I did, yeah. Close enough. I got the right team.
That's close enough on a penalty.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're CCS right now, just running out your 8th and 9th graders and your sophomores, just getting them some experience. That's huge. That gives them a little confidence heading into next season. And they've really improved every single game this year.
And Lancaster trying to get another score in here to enact the mercy rule as Hargrove weaves through. He gets a gain of about 4 yards for 2nd and 6. And you have to admit, this year has been tough on Christian Community's schedule. As pull up the helmet schedule here. I don't have my physical one anymore because I tossed it during Extreme Radio on Sunday.
Their first 2 games was against the Heat, at the Heat, and versus
the Freedom Cowboys.
Horde
weaves through that defense. Horde dangerous when he has the ball on the ground and gets to about the 35-yard line in Colts territory.
I mean, yeah, like they haven't played an easy schedule. Their non-conference schedule, they played 2 games before anyone else in TSIAA played a single game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
That's good. That's getting your guys experience. When you're a young team, you want that to happen. You want to get all the games you can because you don't know, like, how your guys are going to respond to certain situations. And if you remember, they were up on the Tennessee Heat, who we have said multiple times maybe one of the best teams we have covered. And it took a blocked punt in the 4th quarter to basically just take all the fight away from CCS. This game, this town has a lot of talent, and then they have the 8th graders coming up, and 8th and 9th graders, 8th graders coming up had just won the middle school championship. That can't be understated about how much talent is in the CCS system. Yes, they go ahead. Yes, they take a step back this year, but they still hosted a playoff game with this young of a roster.
Christian Community on their year at the Tennessee Heat, hosted Freedom, hosted Sacred Heart bye week, at Ezel Harding, hosted Lancaster and squeaked out the win there, at South Haven and at Classical, break, and then hosted Lighthouse, and they were scheduled to do play against FCA last week. And then, of course, what happened with them as it's slung across the middle by Bragg and incomplete intended for Hargrove. And for Lancaster, they of course had more of a break on their season, and Lancaster, they hosted Sacred Heart for the opening game. They traveled to Riverside in that 58-50 shootout. Imagine if they had lost that game. That game, they would have been guaranteed as the number 3 seed, regardless of what happened, and maybe Riverside would have been in the postseason. But at Riverside, at Christian Community, hosted Classical bye week, at Franklin Christian, then hosted Providence, and then at Ezel Harding last week. So Lancaster, both teams coming into this game, they've had some wear and tear. The only difference is that Christian Community came in tonight with a canceled game. So of course, and they're not that used to playing games on Saturday other than the championships. Bragg slings it to the end zone and incomplete, as coverage there from Bernard was intended for Anderson. But it's this year's schedule for both of these teams has been an interesting journey with playing tough contests and tough teams, and Lancaster was the one who came up to the challenge tonight.
Well, that week off for CCS, it looks like it actually hurt them. It's different having a week off and being a veteran team, and just not having a young team who needs all the experience they can get to play. Yes, you may get some nicks and bruises, but being able to play all those games. As Bragg's 4th down.
Yeah, on a 4th down attempt, Bragg won't get it, and Asher Nix stops him, and it's a turnover on downs with one.
And there it is. There's Asher Nix.
Left to go. Yep.
One of the best players on CCS. He's still fighting to the end, and that's what you want to see. You want to see players keep fighting, even though they're down 34-0. That shows how much heart these guys actually have it. Sometimes you don't have it, and it just so happened that tonight CCS didn't have it, and. All credit to Lancaster. Lancaster came out and they executed their game plan. Deuce had one of the better games I have seen. And then Hargrove and Horde. Horde had a great game. And really the whole offense went through Horde tonight.
Only 3 senior leaders for the Colts, as it's almost picked off Hargrove with the diving attempt at the interception. Couldn't get it there, but for Christian Community, they've got 3 seniors, a ton of juniors going into next year, and Flanders has told us all along in the conversations we've had with him, he wanted to have those 2 games to get reps with the guys, and he would have rather had that and started out 0-2 than have no games and not be prepared for their opening game against Sacred Heart. And of course, they've come up to the task. I mean, it's tough because people may have questions as 2nd and 9 here. Anderson can't get the tackle there and a scramble there, as Poland gets a big gain there, a gain of about 7 yards. But it's tough because those who are watching on the outside here, they're wondering, is the Christian Community dynasty over? Are they not going to make it back to the postseason? Are the days of championships over for the Colts? And clearly not, because they've managed to host a playoff game. And yes, you can argue that the North is weak in a sense, even though if you look at South Haven. But you look at Christian Community, I mean, to get into the playoffs every year except for 2016, I mean, it's something special that Flanders has here. And next year, with only 3 seniors graduating, they're a force to be messed with going into 2021 as incomplete.
The quarterback right now, Poland, he's an 8th grader.
And there's a penalty marker there, but Poland, an 8th grader right now, who was in that middle school championship this year, managed to win it for them against Franklin Christian in overtime last week, and get the call from Tidwell.
Intentional grounding by the offense. 5-yard penalty. Toss it down.
5-yard penalty for an intentional grounding.
It's not a spot foul like the pros in college.
Well, usually it's a 15-yarder.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I guess they
My
called it
bad.
a 5, maybe because of the positioning. I'm not sure on that, but
The reason that was intentional grounding is the ball did not make it to the line of scrimmage, so he threw it behind. So a good way to tell where the line of scrimmage is where the referee's standing as.
yep. As Christian Community will call a
Timeout.
timeout here. But you were saying about Poulin being a 8th grader.
Look, you're the quarterback, Poland, who had a great championship middle school championship game. Like, this team is loaded with talent. They're not done. They're just refueling for next year. I run. This defense throughout the year, they've played great. Asher Nix stepped up. Poulin stepped up. Miles Bernard has had a great year as a freshman. Belcher, a junior, who's done great. He has had some really good plays tonight as well. I mean, maybe if you're CCS, maybe you won't be able to say the dynasty's over. Give you some more bulletin board material.
That's
If that's all the chatter you're hearing, I mean, all the pressure is off of them. That's like tonight we were saying, all the pressure's off Lancaster. They had never won at May-Flanders Field. It's like, oh, well, they're going to get one eventually. Well, I mean, throughout the year, Lancaster has been a little inconsistent, but they finally put together. And if I am playing Lancaster these next couple of weeks, I'm nervous.
as Poulin is brought down, and how about a way to get nervous? Spurlock with the tackle.
As the mercy rule doesn't start till 35, so that is why the clock isn't running right now.
Should be a sack, though.
And there's a set for turnover on down.
First down.
But if you're playing Lancaster these next couple of weeks, the way that Deuce has been in sync with his receivers, and the way Horde has gone off tonight, and the game that Hargrove is having, it's just they have so many weapons at the offensive side of the ball that really they're never out of a game.
Lancaster has shown this far as they toss across the middle. It's intercepted. Turned over to Miles Bernard, who gets the interception. And just like that, a turnover on downs forced by Lancaster and an interception by Christian Community.
So he heard us talking about that's what it was. He heard us talking about, said, hey, I got to make a play.
Here it is, yep.
The result of the play.
But here, let's see if we can get that.
It will be a Mark Reed Insurance first down.
I don't know if I got the end of that.
Yeah, you caught some of the back.
I caught some. I think we may have gotten it.
Get one more time, see if it's a little bit there.
Yeah, we just missed it. So what Bragg did there was he honed in on a receiver and didn't really look anywhere else. And Bernard read the eyes.
As Poulin airs it out to the right side. There's the shots they need to make, but incomplete, intended for Chun. And it was what Bragg, this is one of the big things Bragg told us. You know, Jack and I covered their game against East Harding last week, and Lancaster, of course, they had to have to travel on the road to the championship. But he told us two things. Tell James to pick Christian Community, and tell James to not pick us undefeated again because I want bulletin board material. And that's what they got for going into tonight. I mean 34-0 lead.
Not to toot my own horn, but
you were the only one who took Lancaster.
I mean, it's just a lot was going Lancaster's way, and they were starting to figure it out. So I kind of saw this come. I didn't expect it to be this much of a blowout, but this is a good learning experience, like we said multiple times.
As Will Adams gets a carry there for about 4 yards, and as that'll likely be the end of the third quarter, as Lancaster is just 12 minutes away from getting their first victory at May-Flanders Field ever. And we'll be back for the fourth quarter in the 2020 TSIAA quarterfinal playoff presented by Kingdom.com. Left side. Start of the fourth quarter here at May-Flanders Field. The Lancaster Knights 12 minutes away from setting a trip with the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons in semifinal as the toss goes there. It looks like it got to the line of scrimmage and incomplete.
And
Passes
Malum
incomplete.
was in the area
Intended
there,
target number
so
34.
that is why there
Colts.
isn't going to be
Bring
another
up
intentional grounding,
the Colts.
because there
Fourth
does have to be a receiver in the area. But like we said, Lancaster came out tonight and they did what they were supposed to do, and really won the battles we were talking about. We were talking about, hey, Lancaster defense, get them off the field. Don't let them get these long drives. And what Lancaster did, and what CCS wasn't able to do is they weren't able to keep Deuce Bragg off the field because of how good Lancaster's defense has been tonight. They really only had 2 scoring opportunities the whole night, and we're in the fourth quarter.
As the Colts face a fourth down here, and attempted pass across the middle. It's a nice catch by Asher
Pass is
Nix across the
complete,
middle
number
into the
14.
38-yard line. Move the
Asher
chains.
Nix.
And
He took a
Brought down
lick
by number
right
8.
there,
Devin Harper
but a
of the Knights,
good
the result
job
of
of
the
holding
play.
on to the ball
It will be a
throughout that
market
hit.
insurance.
And then, now here you go. You get your offense moving just a little behind the
First
fresh,
down.
behind a 8th grade quarterback. I mean, the thing with CCS all year is, yes, they can run the ball, but if the run is taken away, what are they going to do? And tonight they just kept trying to pound that run, but Lancaster was ready to stop it.
And toss to the right side, a catch made as Miles Bernard gets
Number 4,
gain of
Miles
about a
Bernard.
yard and brings up a second down.
Brought down by number 6, Jonathan Henry of the Knights. They had to bring up a Colts. Second down.
As clock keeps running, we have 10.5 to go. I mean, Lancaster did everything, all the keys to this game, to perfection.
Second and 7. And airs it out to the right side and almost intercepted by
Pass is incomplete.
by
Intended target
Hargrove.
number 4, Miles Bernard.
Hargrove almost with the
They had to
interception.
bring up a Colts.
Now,
Second down.
Hargrove's done a good job of this all night. He did this with a long touchdown, and then if we can, here he goes. Now watch him turn, locates the ball, and then goes up and makes a play on the ball. He's done that's another weapon that Lancaster has. Lancaster is loaded with weapons, and don't sleep on them in the playoffs.
Now
He's
third
gonna have a
down
false
and
start.
Penalty markers on the field.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. Replay third down.
False start on the offense. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. Still remaining. Third down.
Something to watch for if you're trying to figure out in your out games if they're penalties on the offense or the defense on a false start or offsides penalty. As what
Pass
a
complete, number 34.
lick by
Bellham of the
that
Colts.
Malum
Brought
put
down by
on
55, Lane
Spurlock.
of the Knights.
Spurlock was
They had to
up for
bring
the
up a
challenge.
Colts. Fourth
Look
down.
where they throw the flag on false starts or offside. If they throw it towards the defensive side, the penalty is going to be on that defensive front. But if they throw it to the right side, then that's going to be either a if there's a timeout, either a false start, formation penalty, or too many men on the field, stuff
Right
like
now,
that.
the Colts Corral, they have half off on all food items. So go by and get you some hamburgers, some fries, some hot.
the Colts
on
call
sale
a
for half
time.
price at the
Colts call
Corral.
a
All supplies
timeout.
last.
We will step aside for timeout. And remind you, the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider, Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way, Grow, Live, Give, helping you fit all the pieces together in your financial puzzle, Tennessee Heat Athletics, visit TennesseeHeatSports.com, and by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. A 4th down and 9 here for the Colts to face as scramble here by Poulin and won't get the first down. Lancaster will turn it over. Coach Jason Bragg as the offense sets up here. Coach Jason Bragg going into the year 9-2, losing in the semifinal to Christian Community at May-Flanders Field. So 9-2, came 10-2, 11-2, 11-3, 12-3. Make sure I get this right. 12-4, 13-4, and then 13-5 going into the year. He's about to become 14-5, and for the first 2 seasons, not that bad.
And a chance to go to a championship, and you're playing against a really good Franklin Christian team. But if you play like this tonight, you have a shot against anybody.
The handoff by Bragg up the middle is Anderson, as Anderson is brought down after a gain of about 7 yards as the clock continues to run. Coach Jordan Flanders, 42-15 overall, 5-3 to end the regular season, be 47-18 in 6 seasons, 47-19 after tonight's game, but nothing to be ashamed about whatsoever for Coach Flanders. He's mentioned it all along that they are a young team, and as you mentioned all along, Zach, they're going to be a young team that will be a force to be reckoned with going into 2020.
And another question coming in this game was Deuce healthy? Was he healthy? And now with 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the game, you're up by 34 and he's still in. That shows you that he is healthy, that he is either 100% or near 100%. And that's great, because a few weeks ago he was in a boot, and now he's out here leading a 34-0 lead, with 34-0 lead against a team that they lost to without him.
And a team that, as Anderson gets a first down here, or close to the first down, will be about 2nd down and 1. And it's, we talked about it on the show when James made his prediction about they've never won at May-Flanders Field. The trend is going to continue suit. Talking with the coaching staff of Lancaster Christian, they knew going into this game, it's just something that frazzles them. That's something that rattles the players when they're at May-Flanders Field. But obviously, they had a good motivational speech going into tonight because it didn't affect them here.
Well, sometimes it's just a mental block. Say, hey, I can't. I'm not as fast as. Well, I'm not as fast as. Let's say I'm not as fast as Belcher. I'm not as fast as Bernard. I can't compete with Asher Nix on the offensive line. It's just stuff like that, and it's like sometimes it's not even the players. Like it's the field, like May-Flanders Field. It's like, oh well, it's too small. What am I going to do? I can't do anything about this. This floor by 80. Well, Deuce could have been like, well, I don't usually do good here. But what they did was they said, hey, look, guys, we lost 18-12 without Deuce and our number 1 wide receiver playing quarterback. I mean, when you do that as a team, that gives you a little confidence. And now their confidence is going to be sky high going against Franklin Christian next week.
So now a 2nd and goal. As Lancaster, if they score here, they enact the mercy rule, and the clock will run down with about 6:45 left to go as it continues to run. Bragg trying to get the stat sheet up as Hargrove slips in the backfield. As James says, the turf monster got to him. So now it brings up a 3rd and goal. And this is going to be an interesting matchup. 14-6 was the final score between Franklin Christian and Lancaster Christian, and that game essentially determined number 1 seed in the South. And for Franklin Christian, the last few times they've been number 1 seed, 2015 they won it comfortably. 16 they lost closely, but then of course Sacred Heart having the ineligible players, and later on they became co-champions. And home field advantage means a lot when you're in the semifinal rounds going into the championship. But for Lancaster Christian, it's hard to lose to a team twice. It's hard to beat a team twice. And as you mentioned, Zachary, it's whoever's watching Lancaster, they better be watching this film and preparing for them going into next week as Bragg tosses it across the middle and incomplete.
Something else to watch out for. I'm not saying that this this is a factor, but it also could be playing at the
Continues
field
target was
Franklin
number 4,
Christian
Caleb
plays at.
Kozlowski
There's a
of
little
the
bit of a
Knights.
depth
Had to bring
perception
up
disadvantage
the Knights.
if you're the
4th down.
opposing team. If you don't play there a lot, because of those 3 fields, that right sideline looks like it's a little further away. So what you could have is, for instance, overthrow a couple of key receivers throughout the game, and it's just not being used to the field. So that's another key. So each field after this 4th down.
Hargrove for the touchdown.
Ball was hit
Weaves
off
through the
number 8,
defense, and
Devin
that
Hugo.
officially will run the
Comes off
game
the
clock.
play. It will be a Knights touchdown.
As that makes it
They'll
40
run it at the
to
kickoff, but
nothing.
yep.
Forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, so that's why it's so important to get the home field advantage. For instance, Lancaster's is a more compact field. Like, for instance, let's say in basketball, I know this is a different sport, but in basketball, if there's nothing behind that backboard and you play at home, and then you go to a team who has the wall right behind the backboard, there's just different depth perceptions about it.
Two-point conversion
And the 2-point
is
conversion
no
is no good, but after the kickoff, that will run the game clock and send Lancaster on to Franklin next week and give Christian Community, let's see, November to August. It'll give them a few months to prepare for 2021. And more importantly, at least for the coaching staff here at Christian Community, it'll get them time to prepare for the championship to be hosted here at May-Flanders Field. But it's nothing else I could really say at this point other than congrats to Coach Bragg and company for getting their first win at May-Flanders Field.
And next week, it's going to be hard to keep this offense down because they're in the middle of a rhythm. This CCS defense, as I've said multiple times on the show, is one of the best, if not the best, defense in the league. And for them to put up 40 on them with,
Kickoff for the
I
Knights,
mean,
number 13,
basically
Ace
zero
Hutton.
effort
Back to receive
on
for
some
the
plays.
Colts,
Like,
number 16,
Horde, first
Ty
play, second half,
Urban.
80-yard touchdown. 80-yard touchdown. I don't remember the exact measurement, but just little things that don't seem big give a team a lot of confidence. Like, go ahead.
As the kickoff here and a return attempt by Bernard. Miles Bernard has got some blockers to go and down to about the 38-yard line. And
Miles Bernard.
clock will run for the
And to
mercy
bring up a
rule.
Mark Green entrance.
As
First down.
it's just winding up down here. And again, I go back to the question. Some people even wondered last year, is the Christian Community Dynasty over with the North being weak and them just being essentially blown out in the championship by Ezel Harding? And it's far from over. It's very far from over with the amount of youth that Christian Community has. And although it's a loss, it's not necessarily. I mean, but some people look on the outside. You could see this as maybe like the New England Patriots. The difference is that they lost, that the Colts lost in the championship and then got to the first round, lost in the first round, and you know how the history's gone so far with the Patriots. But some people could be looking on the outside, but I'm sure the Colts will be right back in the swing of things for the Division I playoffs going into 2021 as it's in the backfield. Loss of about 3.
I mean, you can looking on the outside looking in. Yes, the past 2 losses that they've had. What was the championship score last year?
That I will have to look. That we'll have to look at. And no, that was you're thinking that was our producer Jack thinking 80. No, it was that's a national championship where it was 92-90. Let me scroll back, and if you're not already following 8 Man Extreme on social media, you should go do so. Subscribe here on YouTube, and let's scroll back. It'll be going through a lot of social media posts as it's a loss in the backfield from now 3rd down.
Caden Poland.
And at this point, this is just basically a formality if
Yep.
you're Christian Community or Lancaster. If you're Lancaster, this is where you start pulling out all your guys saying, hey, we're not going to – it's okay if y'all score on us, but we're not going to allow one of our guys to be hurt per se during a play or just a freak accident.
And clock winding down with the mercy rule as I'm trying to find that score of the state championship from last year.
Pass is incomplete.
That's Spurlock right there with a great coverage on the throw towards Bernard. That was a great job in coverage there. And the sideline's getting excited for him.
As soon as it loads here, this is what happens when you reach your data cap on unlimited with Verizon. They throttle you because the tower's right here off of the interstate, and waiting for the about 2.5 minutes left to go in tonight's contest.
As there comes another 4th down.
And swatted down at the line of scrimmage by Hargrove.
That'll be a 2-yard down.
Actually, that was swatted down by Anderson. That was a good athletic play by Anderson to get up and get his hand in the passing lanes there.
And it's just a turnover on downs. Lancaster will likely just run out the ball here and sign off for the night. Well, Lancaster and Franklin Christian in the semis, that's locked in. Of course, we'll give an update on tomorrow's show about Ezel Harding and Lighthouse and the situation going on there. But the semis are looking as competitive as ever as we head into the second round of the TSIAA playoffs, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. So,
and now they're just going to kneel the clock out as they gave the ball to Hargrove, who was one of the key players tonight, to go ahead and just run the clock out. As producer Jack is
trying to pull it up before the last few seconds. It may not matter. And a timeout called by Christian Community here, as they're trying to get some reps there, guys, one last time. But Lancaster's fan base knows it. They are excited as ever. They know it here.
So the past 2 playoff losses, they've lost 98-14. So their past 2 playoff games, they've been outscored 98-14, and then
58-22.
My bad,
98-22.
And that's some bulletin board material if you're looking for some, or the fact that throughout all offseason, all you're going to hear is Christian Community, their dynasty's over. It's not like it will be.
No.
I mean, it's just like they don't. What am I trying to say? They don't lose their they don't lose the dynasty. The dynasty's still there. They're just reloading. Like I said earlier, they're just reloading. I mean, if you looked at another team that wasn't Christian Community and you said, well, we only have 3 seniors and we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 9 total upperclassmen. I mean, you're looking at them and you're like, hey, as we're gonna go down to the field.
And the Lancaster
To the corral.
Welcome everybody to the post-game show. The final score 40-0 at May-Flanders Field. Lancaster Christian gets their first victory at CCS in their history of 8-man football. And I'm joined next to me, the victorious head coach in Coach Jason Bragg. Well, Coach, did James give you enough bulletin board material for this week?
Yeah, we used a little bit of it this week.
Now, obviously, you knew going into this game, the 40-80, there's just something that affected the mentality of your team. What was it that you told your guys to try and get in here to win this ball game in one of the toughest environments ever in 8-man football?
I mean, our deal all week long is obviously we practiced on a small field or a smaller field to get used to, and we've been doing that all year. But our mentality was that there's no pressure. I feel like my team at times when it's a big game, we want to get all tight and have a bunch of pressure on us. Just go play football and do what we do and try to have a good time with it. And where it falls, it falls.
And it's incredible to see Bragg back in the game because that matchup you got earlier in the season, he was in a boot. How has his performance been ever since that moment of being in a boot and getting back in the field?
It's just a mental toughness for him, just trying to play through it. I think tonight he forced a lot of things and tried to do some things that we don't want him to do. But, you know, it's mental for him. Go play and just get through it. When we get back up here, we're going to put the boot on. So.
Well, this is the second year in a row where the number 2 seed in the North has been upset by the number 3 seed in the South. Riverside did against South Haven last year. You guys did it this year against Christian Community. You've got your rivals in the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons next week. It was 14-6. The job is done. You've gotten it done against Christian Community, and now what are you telling your guys to go against the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons next week?
I mean, we have a ton of respect for those guys. There's great coaching staff, great kids. They play hard and really good athletes. So, you know, enjoy this one and go back to work. So,
congratulations, Coach. Best of luck in the semifinal. Appreciate it. Well, Zachary, your final thoughts here from this playoff victory for Lancaster.
I mean, Lancaster came in, did what they had to do. I mean, they played 18-12 without Deuce, and then having Deuce come back, that's a big mental factor, as we've talked about multiple times, just the mental hurdle of winning here. But going down, losing 18-12 here early in the season, that really had to play a big factor in this.
And, of course, the other playoff game that is yet to be played, South Haven awaits the winner of Ezel Harding and Lighthouse. We'll talk about that on Extreme Radio tomorrow. But as you can hear a little bit, the fans are Ezel Harding and Lighthouse. Any final thoughts before we sign off here
about
on that?
Ezel and Lighthouse? Well, I mean, if Lighthouse wants a chance, I mean, they've been given some bulletin board material multiple times throughout this year and this past week, but they need to come out. They need to come out early. They need to get the first couple of touchdowns. It's kind of like another mental thing. When you're going down to Ezel, who's the defending state champions, and having to play at Ezel and from their home crowd, I mean, that's a big mental block as well. So this weekend has been a lot about mental blocks trying to overcome.
Well, it was a little bit faster paced of a game, but for your first one back, I mean, so always glad to have you back.
That's good though, right?
The stretch of the playoffs continues for us. From behalf of James Shannon and Jack Elwig upstairs, as well as Zachary Lone next to me, I'm Spencer Thompson. Tune into Extreme Radio tomorrow. We'll give you a recap of this game, the other games that happened on Friday night, and we'll get you set for the conclusion of the first round of the TSIAA playoffs, as well as the second round of the postseason and the national championship tournament that we'll be headed to. So on behalf of everybody that makes 8-Man Extreme successful, I'm Spencer Thompson. Tune into Extreme Radio tomorrow evening. Good night, everybody.